Okay. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our student parent virtual night, eighth grade information nights. I'm Mr. Murata, the principal at the middle school. Miss Cook is here, our assistant principal, and the brains behind the operations. Miss Cook, you want to say hello?
Say hello again. Now we're officially recording. Hello,
Yeah,
welcome.
yeah. And also, I want to thank Mr. Lazaro, Miss Lane from the high school for joining us as well. And our very own Mr. Caporal from the Port Jervis Middle School is here with us. Did I miss any of the adults here? Miss Bumgardner is here, I
Baumgartner's
see,
here. hmm
on our screen as well. So we appreciate that, parents and students, for jumping in. Again, a short presentation. I'll present some information. We are recording this. So anything you miss, we'll definitely get to you. We are going to send some, snail mail, some old fashioned letters home with some of these dates and times. But we try to have these meetings to increase communication and just, again, build those relationships, have some conversations. So let's get started here. And here we go. As we've shared many times, here's our theme. This was drawn by our head art teacher or our new art teacher, Miss Weed, in her interview process, and we asked her to make a representation of Port Pride, and there it is, right? And she came up with that saying, "Moving full steam ahead together," and here we are together, right? High school and middle school, and that's what we are doing. Our Port Pride 5. This is a district-wide initiative. Your children are seeing this. The students, you hear it all the time. You see it. Honesty is our character ed trait this month, but this is our expectations. And kind of here's what we're doing tonight. Just talking about these things. And again, I appreciate the staff that joined us tonight, middle school and high school. And certainly, please jump in. Traditionally, while I'm presenting, if you're in the chat, Ms. Cook will answer anything there. We're going to talk about best practices tonight, and certainly this is working for us at the middle school level, that the phones are away for the day. Students, we know you don't love that, but they are away for the day, and that it has really been working out well. We appreciate it. It's nice to see kids talking to each other, kids playing with each other, and not looking at a screen. So that is working, and we are excited about that. And now my screen is frozen. All right, let's get started. We have a number of activities coming up this spring, different things here, but here are three big ones. We instituted last year the stepping up ceremony, and it was great. And there's the date, and there's the time. I'll have a little more information there. We're going to go to Dorney Park in June also. That has been a long-standing trip for the middle school. And there are the dates of the finals, and I'll explain each one of these a little bit. So here's the stepping up. The middle school or the elementary school has a moving up. High school has a graduation, but we wanted something in between. And it was a beautiful ceremony last year. It was really nice to have our students recognized and celebrate the accomplishment of finishing middle school. And there in bold in capital letters, you got to be in good standing academically. In high school, you fail a class, you're not going to take the next class. That's not necessarily the case in middle school, but in order to participate in the stepping up ceremony, you have to be in good standing. We want our students achieving, certainly academically, to be there. So parents, 3 to 4 guests each. It is going to be in the high school auditorium, so it's not outside where it's open, but 3 to 4 guests there. We will live stream that as well. Okay. The day before, or what is this? The day after, right? Yeah, it's the day after. This is the Thursday before the last day of school. This is a fun activity, and starting in March here, there are some discipline restrictions. The kids, you got to earn the right to go there. We don't want to see kids getting in trouble and then they're going on this trip. So we do ask the students to follow those, and unfortunately, kids have been excluded from that, and we'll get more specific into that as well. And then finals. We are going to have half days on these days, starting the Wednesday, June 14th. And then there are finals in all of your subjects. Some of your electives will start them earlier in class, but then your core subjects, math, social studies, science, English, foreign language, will have a full final exam, and it is 20% of your overall grade. And it is a strong academic time. It is a time, it's near the end of the year. The kids are excited. It's hot, but it is a time to buckle down because it is a big part of their academic year there. Ms. Cook, anything here with these 3 items I shared so far?
No, I think you covered it well. Just make sure that you guys are getting the notes from your teachers and you're reviewing. As you get closer to the finals, you're going to want to probably stay after because it's a lot of material. They go from September on throughout the whole year. So you're going to want to make sure that you're paying attention and, again, going through review packets and that you're prepared for those. So talk to your teachers a lot about it, especially as we get closer.
Yeah. And the dismissal time is probably going to be either 10:30 or 11. We don't have that time, but there'll be buses going home and all that kind of stuff. So those are quick days, but they are important days as well. So, and again, if you have a question while we're presenting here, certainly throw it in the chat, or when we stop sharing the screen, you can ask it there or throw it in the chat now. So. There are many members in the National Junior Honor Society right now that are on the meeting. You earned your way in, and congratulations. If you are not a member of the Honor Society right now as an 8th grader, you are going to get an invitation here. It's based on your first 2 quarters of your school year academically. And then the other steps are the service, the leadership, your citizenship, those types of things there. But when you go to high school, if you're in the National Junior Honor Society, it doesn't just roll into the National Honor Society. You get that in your sophomore year. So we are encouraging our students to continue their service. We are encouraging our students to get involved in the school clubs and activities and collect that on Passport for Good. We've spoken about that a number of times. That is an application for the students. And you could track all of your volunteer hours, your participation hours on Passport for Good. So midway through your sophomore year, you're not saying, hey, where's that paper that I volunteered with Mr. Caporal way back when in middle school, or I did this activity. You track it electronically on Passport for Good, and you have those items when it's time to apply for National Honor Society in high school. That is midway through your sophomore year, okay? So here's information about the honors classes. We have a couple of advanced classes at the middle school. Kids taking algebra, kids taking earth science, or living environment, excuse me. And next year, there are honors social studies, there are honors English classes. And then the math and science classes, they are also advanced, and students can earn their way into there. There are the requirements, and it's not a one-time only thing. If you don't get in as a 9th grader, it doesn't mean you can't get in as a 10th grade honors or 11th grade honors, right? If as a 9th grader you're in just regular English 9, that's okay. Bust your butt, do a good job there. And if that's a goal of yours, you can earn your way in. Mr. Lazaro and Miss Lane, again, are going to speak here. And they certainly could talk about the work they're doing to add more college courses earlier in the kids' career. And they'll talk about what that looks like. But I think they're actually even dipping down into their sophomore year where kids can start earning college credits. And when I stop sharing, Mr. Lazar, Ms. Lane, please jump in on that. So there's the criteria for those honors classes. Also coming up this spring are the New York State exams. There are the dates. There's 2 days of each, and they're in the morning. We take them periods 1 through 4, and then we go for lunch, and then we do the second half of our day. And here at the middle school, the past couple of years, the amount of kids taking it has increased. So I compared it to like eating like your vegetables. Kids generally don't like them. They are good for you, and it is something that you should be doing. We don't talk all kids opting out, but years ago they offered for kids to opt out, and then there was a big push towards that. A lot of kids did it. More and more kids are taking them right now. And here's what I'll tell you, mom and dad and students. We are cited. Port Jervis Middle School is actually cited. We're listed as a school in need of improvement because of this. Number one, the amount of kids that take it. And number two, the overall scores that we are working hard to try to improve upon. But if we don't have kids take the exam, we're going to remain on this school in need of improvement list because we are cited because so many kids opted out. So we're telling our students, we're telling our families, hey, we need you to take it. And here's some of the reasons why. It doesn't go in your grades, right? The students that are on this meeting, like it doesn't count towards your grades, but you do get a measure of where you are in New York State. You do get practice for a New York State exam, which you have to take in high school, right? So it's kind of like practice for it. Miss Lane and Mr. Lazaro have kids last year, like, yeah, no, I'm going to opt out of the algebra regions. And they're like, no, sorry. Yeah, you can't. So, we encourage you to take it. You're not getting a grade on your report card for it. So we encourage you to do it. And it's not like the kids that don't take it get to go have a pizza party. Those kids are sitting there reading quietly while the kids are taking the exam. So we encourage you to take it. Our expectation is that we are going to hit the number that we need. And I know all the kids on here are going to put their best foot forward with that. So Ms. Cook, anything with the exams here? And there's the dates again.
No, I just want to, reiterate what you were saying. Number one, it's great practice to go in and take a test from the state when you get into high school. Those tests aren't optional. And to be honest, these aren't optional. Like when we go through, if you don't take it, it actually is like refusing to take the exam. And it's good feedback to get so that you get it at home and your parents get it at home. Don't think of it as something punitive, but think of it as ways to see how you're doing in comparison to others in the state, places that you need to grow, things that you're doing really well on. So it's a great learning experience.
And these are the same kids that you're going to be competing with in years to come to get into colleges, right? New York State schools, New York State colleges. So it is good to know where you are in terms of your learning and your growth. So,
Mr. Murata, if I can add one
yes,
thing
sir.
that it does also help with it by taking those exams, not only does it tell the student where they are, it tells us as a school district where we are. So when we develop our instruction at the high school, we can better meet the needs of our students. Likewise, it tells the middle school where they are and what gaps they might have in their instruction and helps us become better as a school district. It really is a community effort to help us improve our efforts. So again, I echo all the sentiments that you said, but I did want to just make that a point of to be understood as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Lazaro. And I paused the presentation. If people have questions now or conversation, Mr. Cap, Ms. Lane, or if anybody else have any questions or comments.
I just wanted to reiterate too what Mr. Lazaro said. A lot of our teachers, you guys probably don't know this, but they took the data from this year and they actually looked at students and it helped them develop how are we going to group students together in class, kids that, are understanding things and maybe they need more help. So they were using that, all of the data from these tests to just how they're running their day-to-day classroom.
Good points. Kids, it's like your vegetables, you need them, you should be eating them. All of them don't taste great, but when you're done, you're glad you did it. So we are certainly encouraging our students to take that test, and those were those dates there. All right, a couple more slides, and then we'll open it up to some conversation. All right. This has been a great thing this year, a nice collaboration with our high school, and Miss Lane is a big part of this at the high school also. But our character ed, we talk about these all the time, and here's our character ed trait for this month. So nice, we had a snow day, right? People didn't know the colors. So many people wore light blue and aqua on Wednesday. It's really been a nice thing, and it's nice to see a lot of people rowing in the same direction. So students continue that, and again, not that you're not honest the other months, but certainly a focus on honesty here. And this is just a nice program. Spring sports, right? There's going to be snow and ice this weekend, but spring sports are here. There's a big high school basketball game tonight. Our boys team is in the playoffs at the high school. Anybody knows the score, if they could put it in the chat. But you register on Family ID. Boys and girls track, baseball, softball, and there is high school tennis. Mr. Lazaro, is it boys tennis in the spring? Is that right?
I believe you're right, sir. I think girls are in the fall, but honestly, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I screw that up. But I believe you're right.
Baseball and softball are tryout sports, kids, right? There's a tryout, but track is open. So everyone who goes out for the team is on the team. It is amazing to see all the kids out there, all the kids competing, right? Whether you come first in the sprint or towards the back, you're part of it. You're in it. You're outside. You're working together. We have some great coaches that have stepped up to coach those teams. So we are excited about it, and get involved. If you need help with Family ID, any of the adults on here will help you. Go see the nurse, and parents, if you need a physical, Dr. Little, it will be in the district on the 16th in the morning, that she can come and get that done for your child. All right. There was a dance coming up here. We had a lot of fun at the last one. Brandon, I know you're on the meeting. I see your picture is on there. It was fun. Nathaniel, there you are. I know you're on the meeting too. It was a lot of fun. We might do it out front on the platform. We'll have to see with that. But there's one more coming up, and there's going to be a couple more open gyms, and certainly field day, and those fun activities are coming up. One more thing, academics here. Mr. Cap, you want to talk a little bit about this process and what it looks like?
Sure. So course selections for next year, myself and Mrs. Hargett will come into one of your classes, give you an overview of about your courses for next year. Your teachers right now will place you in science, math, social studies, ELA. We would put you into your French or Spanish 2 courses. We will help you decide or you would choose after we give our presentation about what elective for next year. So there's business courses, there's FACS courses, there's technology courses. So there's many choices for that one elective, but for the most part, your teachers will be placing you in those courses. We'll also be doing some getting you signed into Naviance, which is a program you'll be using with your counselors in high school. I think a lot of your college stuff will be placed in there. I'm sure Mrs. Lane could speak on that more than I can, but it's something that you're going to be using a lot in high school. So we're getting you logged into that and familiar with that software. And hopefully we usually do all this before spring break. So which is about the next month, as it says there.
Thanks, Mr. Cap. And again, throw questions in the chat or put your hand up, and then we're going to stop the session here in a moment, and then we'll talk a little bit. There's a high school orientation. They do this in May. And again, it used to be you get to see the high school and all that. You've got to see it now, which is pretty cool. But they are going to go over a lot of the things that Mr. Cap just talked about. And, again, Mr. Lazaro, the high school staff will be there. And it's important, students. It's important that you go. So the kids, you're on the meeting here. Looks like there's like 30-something people here on the meeting. Bring your friend, right? If your friend's not going, bring your friend, right? This is your school. This is you. This is your life. We want you there. They also do a second one the last week of August before school starts, where you're getting ready to start high school. So that's coming to a theater near you. And I only have one more slide here, and I'll just show this, and then we'll turn it over to Mr. Lazaro and Ms. Lane to talk a little bit. Just a couple best practices for students. Parents, sometimes we're pulling our hair out. I have 2 middle schoolers myself. Ms. Cook has a middle schooler. Mr. Cap, you have 1 in middle school or 2?
One, sorry, I guess you can't
What?
see me.
But here are just some best practices, right? The habits you're building now, they kind of stay with you. Certainly can grow and change them, but enjoy it. Students, enjoy this time here. And with your phones, parents, we urge you to have your kids charge their phones downstairs. So many stories of kids falling asleep with the phone. The thing is buzzing, it interrupts your sleep. Charge that phone downstairs. It'll be there in the morning. And don't give me the excuse you need an alarm clock. They're $5 at Walmart. Get the old-fashioned alarm clock with that annoying noise. And limits and filters and parents, getting in there and seeing what's going on the phone is absolutely, you're right, absolutely a good practice. So, and enjoy the journey, like the title says there. So I will stop sharing now. And I do want to thank, again, the middle school staff for being here. But Mr. Lazaro, Miss Lane, you want to jump in now and just offer a couple words to our 8th graders?
Yeah, I'll start by saying I know you had referenced the college classes. I do want to I'll let everyone know that's something we are working on. Right now, we offer 11 college courses. We're hoping to expand that offering to approximately 18 by next year or in the years to come. So that's going to really provide options for our students to leave a college credit. And one thing we want, Mr. Murata had mentioned you can start. Currently, it's juniors and seniors have access to college classes, but next year we actually have a class that will be available to sophomore. It's a public speaking class, actually, presentation skills through Mount St. Mary. So we're excited to offer that course. So we are expanding our course catalog. We're also, I saw someone, Chloe, you mentioned electives. As far as electives go, we expanded our offerings even in terms of electives as well. So not only are there college offerings, there's an expansion of elective offerings. I will tell you, you'll be scheduled we have a 9-period day. You'll be scheduled for at least 7 classes, a lunch, and maybe a study hall. In some instances, you might have 8 classes, depending if you do music or some other activity. So you have a packed schedule, a real opportunity to earn some credits. I see the question, how well do you have to do to have a scholarship for college? So you do have to qualify for the college classes as you move along. So some college classes have requisites based on the type of regents you're taking. So for example, if you want to take college biology, you do have to take that living environment regents. As far as cost to the college, right now, college courses at Port Jervis are at no expense to students. So all college courses which is, I don't know another school that's offering that right now, but we are offering no cost to college credits. And yes, work hard, and put the effort in. The great thing is you're going to be wrapping up your junior high school career, middle school career, and you're going to have an opportunity to really press reset and come into the high school and be the person you're going to grow up to be. It's a fast 4 years, but it is an exciting 4 years. And I'm excited that we have 20, almost 30 students out here joining tonight. And parents. That's a great thing, and we want to see that continue, that involvement continue in the high school. I'll give Ms. Land an opportunity to join in here.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, I'll just reiterate what Mr. Murata, Ms. Cook, and Mr. Lazaro said. The best adjustment to the high school is having great skills building in middle school by attending school daily and being here. Teachers want you here in the high school. So that's the best practice and preparation you can do for any of the classes, college scholarships. Somebody asked about, on your transcript in high school, your attendance is on your high school transcript and your tardies. So being here and being on time is a great way to start your high school career, getting involved, joining clubs and activities and sports, or the music programs and the theater programs and art clubs. And we have a lot of different clubs and offerings here at the high school, in addition to all the different elective courses and those dual enrollment classes. So you'll have the opportunity to meet with your high school counselor, like you have Mr. Caporal or Ms. Hargett this year. When you get to the high school, you'll have one of us counselors assigned by letters of the last name. So we all have roughly 200 students on our caseload, and we work with you individually throughout the year and over all 4 years of high school. So someone asked a question about picking your own electives. So yes, you do get to do that when you're in middle school, as Mr. Caparel mentioned. There are some courses that we try to steer freshmen towards. As kind of the introduction classes to the art program, for example, or, the introductory classes to the technology program. So when you start with one of those introductory classes as a first-year student, you can kind of build on those within the tech department or within the art department or music, things like that. We're just really excited, and we always look forward to a new class of students coming in. But to answer the question of best preparing yourself for college and college scholarships, scholarships can be offered to students. It's not always academic. It's, there are scholarships that are given to our students every year for the character that they demonstrate, the kind of person that they are. So financial need. There's all different areas for scholarship consideration, and we'll have lots of nights like this once you do get to the high school to walk you through all of those steps. And we start with you freshman year, as Mr. Caparel said, working with the programs that are in Naviance with college and career planning and researching. So, you'll definitely get to know your counselors.
Miss Lane, there was a question regarding C-Tech. I know that's obviously for our juniors and seniors, upperclassmen, but perhaps you can give the group here a sense of what the pathway would be.
Sure. So actually right now our students are going on the visitations for rising juniors and seniors who are interested. The BOCES C-Tech or career and technical education programs that are housed out of BOCES in Goshen and Arden Hill are offered to our juniors and seniors. Some of the programs are 2-year programs. Some of the programs are 1-year programs. Students can go for both years if they're interested. There is a rubric that we use for eligibility. So we want to make sure that students have enough credits and are, on track with their credits for graduation. There's 22 credits required for all high school students in New York for graduation. So we want to make sure that you're on track with your credits, with your Regents exams. So that's a motivation freshman and sophomore year when you're asking yourself, why do I want to go to school? Why do I have to do well in class? Or you think maybe you're a little bit of a procrastinator. The carrot that we, want students to dangle the first 2 years is if you're interested in that BOCES program, we want you to be eligible to attend that your junior and senior year. The programs, they have over 30 programs ranging from aviation and getting, earning your private pilot's license to culinary arts to welding and electrical, animal, vet science. There's a lot of programs. You can go on their website and start researching and looking at those now. You can talk with your high school counselors about it. Freshman and sophomore year, that's what we're doing right now when we're meeting for course selection. So it's a nice opportunity for students who want to split their day, half of the day here at Port Jervis High School, and then half of the day attending those career and tech programs. And a lot of them offer certifications towards that career. So you really are kind of getting your hands-on experience in a program, but also getting the education and the credits that you need to meet your requirements for your high school diploma.
Bam. Thanks, Ms. Lane.
My pleasure.
Richard, I'm going to put a link for BOCES in there. If you go to the BOCES link and you go to C-Tech, you'll see some of the programs that Ms. Lane spoke about. I know that the question came up